resilience. And I can't think of a better guest to have on to talk about recovery
Okay.
and resilience than the gentleman sitting in front of me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So talk to me about TikTok.
I started a little over a year ago, and primarily it was to get truth out there and to give people a little hope, thinking that everybody would come together and put down this bullshit. Um, Needless to say, that did not happen. And so I I had after the election, I actually dropped my account. I was done. I was too through. But then I had to remember what I have been saying all along is the fact that I am a soldier, the fact that I don't quit, the fact that I will fight until the day I croak. So, and that with about 300 people contacting me saying, please come back. Well, I came back. It wouldn't have been so bad, except that all along the way, I mean, since 2015, I have been in that man's ass. From the time he came down the escalator looking like Jabba the Hutt with whatever on his arm, I have been in his ass because he's never been a good man. To steal $2 million from a veterans fund and have to be court ordered to pay it back, that tells you that's not a good man. The fact that he nor his family can run a charity in the state of New York, that tells you he's not a good man. But what got me, that I saw the handwriting on the wall, was America's willingness to go back to the days of racism and children being scarred again. I remember as a child in Memphis you're told where to go to school, where to pray, where to eat, where to sleep, where to live. And I vowed I would never let that happen to another generation of children. Yet still here it is happening again. And you have young athletes that go to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and they meet up with the Posse Comitatus. You have young Black children who are in school who need books for their very foundation, are being told that these are books that no longer can be read in school. So all of these things leave scars. They leave memories that these children should not have to bear. That's what brought me back to this, to be honest about it.
And I did the same thing you did. I woke up the day after, gut punched. I don't lose well, and shocked at the numbers. And my very first 24 hours, the only thing I knew was that I wasn't going to stop advancing racial equity. So everything else has had to fill in around that. I've not generally been political. I don't care to be political, but what I did learn from this cycle is that the personal is political. The political is personal. I can never again extricate those two things and put them in separate buckets. And my bubble is broken. It's not going back.
Now it's about having fun. I won't do any more political lives because that cat, as I've said before, is already out of the bag. What we have to deal with now are consequences and repercussions.
Yes.
So my message is one, to have fun and to unite, enjoy each other's company, and enjoy your own company, so to speak. There are things that will never ever change. Excuse me, about me. Number one, because of the PTSD that I deal with one of the little side effects being hypervigilance. What has changed is people that I have known for decades. I've watched them grow from children into adulthood, and to see them turn around and vote for that individual made me question, my sense of judgment. Did I make an error in judgment? Because in the past, in order for me to survive and stay alive, I have had to learn how to judge people at an instant.
Yes.
And that puts me like back on my heels a little bit, and I will watch what you do, and I will listen to what you say. I listen to so many people give lip service. Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote against him, and the very people that I thought would vote against him, white women and Latino males, voted for him. So that shook my faith. Um, what I do now is number one, I believe in my bride. That is the one person that I know that I don't have to look for. She will always have my six. She will always have my back. All right. I put more time into my family. I've got 4 grandsons.
Mhm.
My oldest grandson was in the Marine Corps and is also dealing with PTSD. I just put more faith in the people that I know that I can trust and very cautiously accept others into my life. I used to just open arms, everybody. Not anymore.
Mhm.
Not anymore. It has also made me realizing that if Project 2025 comes into existence, I will be affected twice there because of the fact that I am 100% disabled. I receive a pension from the VA.
Yeah.
They want to take away disability payments to soldiers. They also want to exclude groups 6 and 7 from care. These are people who have issues, but they can't be service connected. So they're just saying, your time in the military means nothing. Also, my Social Security would
Mhm.
be uh, at risk. I'm looking at plans A, B, and C. If I have to go back to work, then I'm going to go back into work doing something that I love. It will either be radio or image consultant or whatever the case may be. But it wouldn't be the first time that I've reinvented myself. And to my military family, there are a lot of guys out here who are struggling. There are a lot of guys and women who are dealing with MST in the military who
Mhm.
who are having a very, very hard time. That's the reason why I hold Tuesday night as Veterans Night, because as a veteran, I'm not prone to talk to a civilian very much,
Mhm.
but I will talk to and listen to a veteran, hands
Right.
down.
I was married to a veteran with PTSD for 22 years, and we had a ride. Yes, he had PTSD. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, Marine Corps sniper, but we had secondary PTSD, bad, as a family and the
Hmm.
children. And I
Hmm.
watch what's happened now through my grandchildren as not just the dysfunctions, but the Agent Orange or some of the effects. And it's like, oh, my experience with the VA is that they want the veteran to die or go away. They lose your freaking file 3 times in 3 years. They make
Yeah,
it so miserable that dealing with
yeah,
them triggers PTSD. And
it
then they
does.
send you to Loma Linda or some great place for them to say, oh, no, you don't, that wasn't because of your service. That's because you're bipolar.
Yep.
What?
I was determined that they were not going to beat me. When I first went in, I went in for tinnitus because I was a member of
Oh,
an artillery unit. I filed the PTSD not in order. So
mhm.
then they had me go to 3 different psychologists
Oh, yeah.
um, to peel my muffin cap back,
Mhm.
to bring on things that I have skillfully buried for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
There's a cost to that.
Yes.
Speaking of family, my wife, we've been together 17 years now.
Mhm.
My wife knows that in the morning
Mhm.
when she goes, because I'm still asleep, she gets up early. If I'm asleep, you call my name. Don't touch me.
Yep.
Don't touch me. Call my name. Make sure I know you're who you are, and
Mhm.
then say goodbye and kiss me. But other than that, leave me alone.
Mhm.
Um, families, I did a live, and there was a woman who served in Vietnam, and she was dealing with cancers, and her daughter and her great or her granddaughter were suffering from uh, Agent Orange symptoms. So it carries on, and a lot of wives need PTSD payment for what they have had to go through. It
Mhm.
has ruined many a marriage
Oh
because
my God.
for me, I denied it for 30 years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't let anybody get close to me for
Mhm.
30 years. I was married, but my marriage only lasted 4.5 years.
Mhm.
Being an entertainer, that was my out because I was always the jovial, entertaining, singing, fun kind of guy. And it ruined relationships because I didn't know if that woman wanted me, the entertainer, or the real me. She didn't know the real me. And I was
Right.
afraid to let someone see the real me.
Yes.
What happened for me is I fulfilled a commitment. My first time going to the wall was in 2010
Mhm.
because I have 2 brothers from other mothers on that
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
And that opened a whole different can of worms because everything came flooding out, and it got real bad for a while.
Yeah.
I considered the 22 a day route,
Hmm.
and I no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Since 2010, I have been back to that wall 7 times.
Hmm.
And that's my therapy because every time I go, I leave a demon. When I
Yes.
leave there, I go immediately to Arlington National Cemetery
Hmm.
because, except by the grace of God, I could have been either one of those places. So at this point, I consider my blessings and I
Hmm.
count my blessings and I'm thankful for my blessings because it could have gone another way.
So when the election cycle happened and the next day you said, "Pff, I am done with you people." Okay, whatever. Do you see any, was that like a trauma response for you? Self-protective?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I didn't know who I could trust at that point.
Yes.
As far as I
That's
was
how I
concerned,
felt.
a whole country
Yeah.
had kicked me in my nuts.
Hmm.
So I do what I normally do is I pull my wagons in,
Yeah.
and when my bride saw what I had done the next day, she said, "There are a lot of people who need to talk to you." I said, "Fuck them, fuck them." And she says, "You're going to change your mind." I said, "No, I'm not going to change my mind because usually when I put my foot down and I make up my mind and I'm done, I'm done."
Yep.
But then I got a message on actually a woman followed me all the way to Facebook and explained to me how she was showing my videos to her daughter. And it impacted her daughter so severely that she changed her major, where she was going to Ashland College, I think it was, to political science.
Mhm.
I got another message from a woman who was going through some personal trauma as far as divorce and things like that. And she expressed the joy that I brought and hope that I brought to her.
Mhm.
So then it's like, oh, fuck. So so I resisted for another week, and then I spoke with my moderator, Sia,
Uh-huh.
and we kind of discussed some things. And she said, "Do it only if you want to do it. Don't do it for anybody else but yourself." Right? That makes sense.
Mhm.
So when I decided to come back, it was sheepish, and I was tentative about it. My first night came back, it sucked. I knew it sucked. So then it was like, oh fuck this, I'm done. But then my bride said, just give it a chance. So last night was my like second attempt and first attempt at kind of changing the script a little bit. I changed the background, I changed the point of view to relationship, to mental health, to
Mhm.
fashion, to image consultant, and that's the way that I'm going to roll.
Mhm.
That's my contribution.
What is an image consultant and how does that help? Is that just for veterans or is that for like white women like me? And how is that going to help me bridge this bullshit that's coming up in our culture?
I truly believe if you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
But my point with that is that I see so many men out who are locked in their ways, and it's primarily toward men
Mm-hmm.
who are
Yeah.
locked in their ways, and all they have to do is just make a just few tiny changes, and their wardrobe starts with that. They say, "Well, I don't have the money to dress like you do." Bullshit. Yeah, you do. This jacket, okay, $30, Amazon. There's a $20 turtleneck under that and a pair of jeans. Okay,
Yeah.
so for $100, you can end up with an outfit that looks good and is more becoming rather than the t-shirts and sweatshirts and everything that you wear. I believe that if men feel better about themselves, they're going to approach women in a more positive way and be
Mm-hmm.
more supportive. It's there's nothing wrong with looking good and having a nice cologne on and presenting yourself as a man
Uh-huh.
rather than some old dude who's stuffed in his ways and just won't change. As far as women, I truly believe that I put this disclaimer out there. If you ask me something, make sure that you really want the answer because I'm going to tell you the truth. And if that old thing about does this skirt make my butt look big? No, your butt is big. You need to change skirts. So I'm brutally honest, but if I can do something to make somebody feel better about themselves,
Mhm.
that carries on, even into relationships. They allow men to browbeat them. Oh, you look like shit. Well, let's change that. Okay. And number one, who is he to judge?
Mhm.
So if people can get along at home, then they can get along with others out here because Donald Trump and associates have intentionally uh, divided us.
Mhm.
That keeps us at each other's throat rather than at his throat.
Right.
And the less people in our camp, the more people in his camp. I retired
Mhm.
uh, 10 years ago from the Minnesota Department of Health. So
Yeah.
I don't really have to get out.
Mhm.
But in the summertime, I have a sports car and I drive the hell out of that thing. And in the winter, I deal with veterans that I used to be the in charge of the mentor program for Hennepin County Veterans Court. There are still veterans that I deal with as a result of my being the head down there. Who every once in a while call, we'll meet for lunch. I'm
Mhm.
meeting a guy today whose wife said she wants a divorce. So
Yeah.
of all places, I sent him to the vet center and he's going to start marriage counseling over there.
This election divided us, and we didn't know how badly it divided us until the results came in. I had a hard time understanding the 52% of white women. I'm sorry, that's like, what the hell? But when I saw the veteran vote split, my life of working with and for and beside veterans is like, veterans of color? Can you help me understand?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can. There are racists, there are conservatives who are in the military.
Yes.
When I was in Vietnam, come a kid out of Memphis, Tennessee, going to Vietnam, that's the first time I'd ever been anywhere. Okay. And after dealing with racism in the South, I thought, you're not going to deal with that in the military. Damn if you didn't. There are conservatives in the military, and they hold that over the value of the fact that they took an oath to the Constitution.
Okay.
Young black men or black soldiers, they're looking for a seat at the table. They see this as breaking free from the plantation because they see the Democrats have done nothing for them. That's because they haven't bothered to research. They've been sold a bill of goods.
Mhm.
Here's Donald Trump with his arms, welcome, young Negro. But then you turn around and look at his cabinet. He just finally put one black NFL player in his cabinet. What the hell does an NFL player know about doing what he's doing? He's putting a man whose brain has been half eaten by a worm in charge of health and human services.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if you all you have to do is look at right as what in front of you. You have been sold a bill of goods. You will
Mhm.
not get a seat at the table. He's not going to do anything to benefit you personally. And that's what a lot of black folks have wanted. Well, Barack Obama didn't do anything for me, the black folks. Do you live here in the United States? Are you a citizen of these here United States? Yes. Well, then he did the same thing for you that he did for everybody else.
Mhm.
Because if Barack Obama or Kamala Harris had come out with a program specifically meant for black folks, they would have hung his ass.
Mhm. Yeah.
They would have hung it.
Yeah.
They damn near crucified him for wearing a tan suit.
I remember.
Okay. So racism is like cockroaches. It will be around forever. And that's how Donald Trump got over. He pulled on that little thread of hate and racism. And the guys that are in the military, that's the part that I guess that hurt me the most.
Mhm.
Because I swore an oath to the Constitution, not to a man. And I look at the 58,309 names that are on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Those people made the ultimate sacrifice to stand for something, to stand against something.
Mhm.
Autocrat, fascism, dictators. That's what they died for.
Mhm.
So that was to me like pissing in the face of people who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Mhm.
Black men, they're going to come to the intersection and fuck around and find out real quick. The train's there. It's pulling into the station. When the doors open, you're going to find out that this man doesn't give a shit about you.
Right.
Look what he's doing to your children. Look what he's doing to your women.
Mhm.
And if you want to think about it in another way, a president should not have a body count. Yet and still, this man has a body count of 1 million lives during COVID. All right. But you think about the names of Amber Thurman and Nevia Crane and women who in the state of Texas, all they wanted to do was become a mother. Unfortunately, it was in the state of Texas and they had issues. And for those issues, they died.
Mhm.
So that body count, it's going to be a national abortion ban. You can bet your ass on that. That body count is going to rise.
Mhm.
That shouldn't happen.
For racial equity, for my information, is there in things like special ops, elite forces, are those racially mixed, the elite forces, or is there discrimination to get to those ranks?
There, there is racial discrimination among special operators,
Okay.
and you will find that reputation and drive speaks for itself. So if a man says that I'm going to do this regardless, there's nothing they can do to stop him. There are black operators out here. There are black special forces. You know, guys who receive ranger tabs and then they go ahead and start in the special ops community. But um, it's mostly a white led field. You know,
Oh,
the military is supposed to be apolitical. As a young black man going through basic training in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, you could feel the racism. A black person has to almost do twice as well to be recognized
yeah.
because people will judge just on your skin color. They'll look and go, that black man, okay?
Mhm.
Not that black man who served 2 tours in Vietnam or 1 tour in Vietnam, or that black man who is an electrical engineer, or that black man who has a loving family, whatever the case may be. So it has to be, they have to get past that initial, that black man. And then your credentials have to be in order
Yeah.
just to be accepted as normal.
You said you made an oath to the Constitution and there was no expiration date.
The, the, the oath that I took was to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is a domestic terrorist. The
Yes.
people that he is dealing with, from the Proud Boys to the Klan to the whatever the one whatever, they are a threat to democracy. The people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, they are a threat to democracy.
Mhm.
So again, my job as a soldier, it's not done.
Mhm.
But at this point in time, I I just choose to be an example.
Mhm.
And as
Yeah.
far as protection is concerned, I protect me and mine. I have to keep my circle very, very small at this point.
Yeah.
But I live my life as an example, especially to young black men.
Mhm.
Um, so many times I've been out driving through town and I've had the top down, the music going on. I'm having fun. I'm 75 years old and I've had young black men. Hey man, how do you get to do what you do? Are you rich? No, dude, I'm not rich.
Yeah.
He said, well, what do you do? I said, number one, stay out of trouble.
Mhm.
Don't get a criminal record. Number two, stay in school. And number three, of most important of all, do not ruin your credit history because without credit in this country, you're screwed.
Mhm.
That's my 3 pieces of advice. You're not seen. You're not heard unless you make yourself seen and heard. And the only way that you can do that is if you speak from a base of knowledge
Yeah.
and information. If you're going to express yourself with English,
Mhm.
good English. I don't mean, yo, man, what's up? How you doing? Hey, man, what's going on? Can I get a job, brother? You know, look here, man. See, but no. You walk in with a shirt and tie on and yourself all cleaned up, and you say, "Excuse me, may I have a moment of your time?" That goes even far as presenting themselves to women.
Mhm.
There's so many young men out here have watched all these stupid ass videos. Hey, baby, how you doing? Nobody wants to be referred to like that.
Mhm.
Walk up and introduce yourself. Leave her a number so that she's in control and say, look, I find you most interesting. I'd like a chance to get to know you better. Here's my number. Here's my name. If you would like, give me a call. 8 times out of 10, if you do that, they will give you a call just to find out what you're about because you're different. Be different. Be an example.
When I see image consultant, when I hear that and what you just did with young black men, I
Yeah.
was like, yep, yeah, it's everything. It's not the $30 thing, and it's not the way you wear your hat, and it's not
No.
what it is, the whole package.
It is. You
Yeah.
have to be a whole package these days.
Yes.
Look at the fact that there are
Brandy.
women out here who would prefer a bear, knowing full well they're going to die or be seriously injured, than deal with some of these assholes out here. That's because the few that they've had to deal with have scarred them to deal with the rest of the men. So be something different. Don't be like everybody else. Be a leader.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're going to get teased about, man, why are you wearing that? Because my lady likes it.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Because I don't want to be like you. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to have a record. I want to buy a home someday. I want to raise a family. So what you have to do is everything deserves a decent foundation. So you have to lay that foundation while you're young.
Right.
Then you build on that
Mhm.
and build with confidence, knowing that you won't fail. If you adapt that attitude that nothing is going to stop you, you will not fail.
Mhm.
So you're going to get knocked down. You just get your ass back up, dust off, and get back at it.
So people don't change until the pain of where they are is greater than the fear of where they're going. The fuck around and
Exactly.
find out phase is coming.
Oh, it is.
When these young black men who voted against their best interests, whether they're veterans or not, who haven't had the foundation you would have laid for them from childhood, come to you. Here's what I'm seeing in the white community right now. In the last week or two, after the week after the election, everybody was shocked. White
Yeah.
women are coming by the hundreds into safe containers to learn, rethink, and make the next step of growth that they were not willing to make before because it just was about a vote. Now it's not about a vote. Now it's already starting to cost us. And now, properly motivated by the droves, women are
Yeah.
showing up who were behind the curtain before. Whether I
Yeah.
don't know how they voted. I just know they're coming out now. I can hardly keep up. I
Yeah.
suspect that's going to happen with your veterans and your young black men when they realize, when it starts to hit home for them. What brings you joy, and how do you, when they haven't had the foundation from childhood, how are you going to help them pivot from their pain now?
Here's my fear with young black men. They are going to feel as though
Yes.
they put their faith in Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, I mean, to the point of giving them their vote. And some of them never even voted before. It's the first time they voted. So they're putting a lot on him. And when they find out that he's just a false bill of goods and wants to sell them a Bible, it's going to hurt. It's going to sting. And then it's like they're going to go on looking for their next um, savior, somebody who's going to elevate them. When the answer is, all you have to do is get your shit in order and you will elevate yourself. You don't need somebody to elevate you. As far as what brings me joy, a fine tequila, watching my two great granddaughters.
Mhm.
Because of the PTSD, I have to have a dog.
Mhm.
And that Bandit's Pop, that's Bandit is my dog.
Uh-huh.
So just little things bring me joy now. Driving in the country with the top down and the music blaring, and simple things bring me joy now.
One of the things that brings me joy is talking to people like you on podcasts.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So that brings me joy knowing that I also help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Uh, First time people coming in on TikTok never went to a live. They came to my live. They walk out saying, "Man, we had a ball." I said, "Well, come on back," and they do.
Yeah.
So I've developed this little community, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
and some of them are a pain in the ass. Others are just people looking to connect,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They may be home and can't get out, or they're handicapped, or they're divorced, or they don't feel well. They just want to connect with somebody,
Mhm.
talk to somebody. So that's, I guess that would be me. Service,
Yep.
being of service, like I pretty much have been my entire life.
Mhm.
Uh, Doing the right thing,
Mhm.
um, giving somebody the means and motivation to get a leg up to improve their status in life, just knowing that a job well done.
Your integrity shows that does.
I hope so.
By
I hope so.
example.
I'm up to, I think it was 53,500.
Mhm.
And that's despite TikTok kind of blocking me here and there, as they will with a lot of creators of color. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Uh, but I get around them in certain ways. I mean, they've dinged me a couple of times for my language. So what I have to do is almost take a highbrow approach. And but see, that's no fun because once you insult somebody and they're too stupid to know they've been insulted, that takes all the joy out of it. I guess I do it to try to bring the stress level down. And it's going to rise after January 20th. Here's my big concern. It has been rumored that Donald Trump will use the military to deport people.
Yes.
That is not what the military is for.
Right.
I'm hoping, and I'm hoping and praying to God that when given an unlawful order, they will deny it. They will choose not to obey that order. I guess that's the problem. That's the part right now that scares me the most is the degradation of the military
Yeah.
because he actually despises the military.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
He hates the
intentional.
military.
Yeah.
What he did to John McCain, what he did to others, the soldiers who were reported the traumatic brain injury, which he knew they were going to be shelled. He called traumatic brain injury headaches because he has no concept of what it's like to be a warrior.
Now for season 2, which is you're going to be kicking off season 2 with us. What words of advice or what would you want to say to our audience about resilience going forward?
I look at it this way. I only have two alternatives to keep pushing or die. I'm far from ready to die. I've cheated death. By all rights, I should have died in the bush over 50 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm here for some reason, some purpose. So just about the time you feel like you're down and you're not going to get up, you need to get the fuck up. Okay. Take a shower, have a coffee, have a drink, whatever it takes, but organize your next day. Don't just go on the seat of your pants. Write out a list of what you're going to do. All right. Counseling. If you're that low, if you're that down, then talk to somebody because I guarantee you they will have another opinion or another view than you because you being in the forest, you can't see it for the goddamn trees. So just do some soul searching and find out what it is that you want the most out of life.
Mhm.
And don't let anybody stop you from getting it. You make whatever changes and adapt. In the Army, they tell you to adapt and overcome. So those are the three words that I would leave with somebody: adapt and overcome.
Thank you. That's perfect.